Hello and welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome here to a news roundup today. And I have to say, some interesting topics here in a range of different areas, because we are going to be talking in today's video about the young, up-and-coming Ansu Fati. A big article today in the Spanish media on him. I'm going to be bringing that to you. But also, we're going to be talking about something very interesting. I think it is very telling what I'm going to talk about here between Gerard Piqué and Ernesto Valverde. Something that's come out in the past few days. We're going to be discussing that here, and also a bit of an international roundup. It's all coming up. Plenty to discuss. Stay right there. Let's do this. And I do want to start first and foremost with that Ansu Fati profile this morning in Sport. It was a big article. He appeared there on the front page with a big headline, Ansu Plan. And it was basically from Sport's 3 big headlines, and especially the plan that Barcelona have for Ansu Fati, not just for the now, not just for the immediate future, but also for the long-term future, to basically ensure that we get the best out of it, that we maximise all of that potential that he clearly does have in the 16-year-old. Because right now, Sport are saying, number 1, bet. That's the big highlight there. The first plan from Barcelona, they bet on Ansu Fati. They believe right now he's the man to take them forward. He is somebody who can be a first-team player. And right now, Sport are saying Barcelona are slipping into the mindset that Ansu Fati at the moment is a first-team player. He's training with the first team. He's playing with the first team. He's acting here like a first-team player. And it might be on the cards here to see an incredible rise from somebody, of course, who started the season in Juvenile A. That was a step up for him. But right here and now, he could become a first-team player this season, and that in itself, that's tremendous. The second point that Sport have mentioned is all about here protection of Ansu Fati. Protection there of the young player, the young star that's emerging. Protecting him really from all of those things really that could knock him away from that path that Barcelona so clearly have for him. And Sport come out there, quite ironically actually, and say that Barcelona want to protect Ansu Fati from the media explosion that's about to take place on this young man. And it's quite ironic really, because Sport there have put out a big headline, a big front page, all about Ansu Fati, and Barcelona want to protect him from that. Of course, there's going to be a lot written about him, there's going to be a lot said about him, but Barca there are going to put their arm around this youngster, and they're going to say, look, you need to keep yourself calm, you need to keep yourself composed, everything that's going to happen around you, just ignore it, focus on the football. And finally there, the third point, it's all about peace of mind. That's what Barcelona want to give there to Ansu Fati, and also to his family as well. According to Sport there, the club have advised Fati to keep his feet on the ground, to not really get overawed by the occasion, by exactly what's happening right now. They want him to continue living a perfectly normal life for a 16-year-old. Don't get caught up in the fame, the money, of course the contracts are all going to follow, but keep yourself very focused on what you're doing day in, day out on the training field. That's where your heart is right now. That's where it has to be to get the best out of you. And they're also saying that the club has spoken to his father. They've not just spoken there to Ansu Fati, they've also spoken there to his father, just to say, keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him there, keep him out of the public eye, make sure that he's doing the right things, not only off the pitch, but we all know how important it is there to do the right things off the pitch too. That's what Fati has to do. He's got to deal with that expectation, but most importantly, stay there, out of the public eye, out of the public domain, and get the best, the very best out of all that potential. And I think, to be honest, that's what Barcelona have to do. In this very particular instance, we've got a young player here, 16 years old, scored his first ever Barcelona goal. He's the youngest ever goal scorer in Barcelona history. You've got to protect him. You've got to make sure there, surrounding him are good people there who know what's best for him. And that's what Barcelona have to make sure, because we all remember a young Bojan breaking through at Barcelona, incredibly talented player, looked like the next Messi. That was what he was dubbed as in the media. And of course, that enormous expectation, that enormous pressure all around him, everywhere he turned, it was on his shoulders. That broke him. That broke him down as a player. He didn't achieve his potential because of that expectation. So with Fati, there's going to be a lot of hype, there's going to be a lot of media attention, but at the end of the day, let your football do the talking and be guided by those around you. Be guided there by your family members. They will help you succeed. And before we do move on to that Valverde Piqué story that's broken there in the past few days, let's talk about some international football. Let's talk here about about some injury concerns from Barcelona after yesterday's international games, starting there with Nelson Semedo, because there was serious concern last night. Portugal were playing Serbia, and it was a big collision there, including Semedo on that ankle area, and he was basically stretchered off there against Serbia for Portugal, and it didn't look good. Any player, of course, who leaves the field there on a stretcher, it's never, ever a good feeling, and we were all wondering, really, how long is Semedo going to be out for? What is the outcome there of that injury? But good news. Very, very good news indeed. MD came out this morning, and they said, look, don't worry about that injury. It's nothing serious. It's nothing there to panic over. They actually say that Semedo there is targeting a return to training with his Portugal teammates today. He's actually going to be back in training. It's nothing serious whatsoever, and nothing there to be concerned about. Although sports say Barcelona still are not happy. What they want is for Semedo now to return to Barcelona just to be on the safe side, maybe to be given the once-over by the fitness team there in Barcelona. They don't want him to play in Portugal's next game against Lithuania, and they want him to return. But they've left the decision to Semedo himself, whether he wants to, whether he will. We're going to find out, but Semedo there suddenly looks serious, but luckily it's nothing to worry about. But unfortunately, the injury concerns on the side of Barcelona don't exactly stop there. That brings me on to the welfare of Samuel Umtiti, of course, who was only drafted into the French squad because of an injury there to Laporte of Man City. Umtiti wasn't going to be in the French squad, but he got his chance, and you were thinking there, that's great. Hopefully now he can get some football. He hasn't been playing recently for Barcelona. Maybe now he can play for his country and get some confidence there under his belt. But after being named there in the squad for their match yesterday against Albania, Umtiti was unable to play after a swollen right foot kept him out. A little injury there, something that he picked up, and yet another setback there for the centre-back. And it's a real shame. It's more misery, it's more injury discomfort, it's more problems for Samuel Umtiti, who just can't seem to catch a break. It's not going to help his confidence, it's not going to help him feel good, it's not going to help his mind, of course. Every time that he seems ready to step out on the field, something breaks down, something goes wrong, and it's not good at all for Umtiti. And Barcelona now, again, want him to return, and it does look as though he's going to go back to Barcelona, he's going to be assessed there, and we'll see how he recovers. But also in that game, also talking about confidence, in that France against Albania game, Antoine Griezmann, penalty kick, steps up, and he misses it. A missed penalty there for Antoine Griezmann after his effort there crashed against the crossbar and came back out. Very, very unlucky. That's not going to help his confidence either, but luckily on the night, no problem at all. It didn't matter for France. They won comfortably, 4-1, but certainly there, more concern for Samuel Umtiti. But okay, now it is time to talk about the Ernesto Valverde and Gerard Piqué article which came out in the Spanish media this week, and actually, it came straight from Gerard Piqué himself. It was his words. He openly admitted what I'm about to tell you, and I'm actually surprised really that Piqué went on record and actually said this. Sometimes I do feel like Piqué not talks too much, but sometimes, maybe in the public eye, he is a bit too honest, a bit too open there in the public domain. Because basically, I want to take you back to last season, and I want to take you back there to the very start of last season in pre-season. It was in the United States there, and Gerard Piqué, off the field, had started to become very, very involved in the tennis world. His company, Cosmos, basically have got a big part there in a new tournament starting in the tennis world, all to do there with the Davis Cup. They're basically revolutionising that particular tournament, and it's actually going to be held later on this year. But basically, last summer, Gerard Piqué knew that to get this tournament underway, he needed to convince a number of people, and he needed to do that in a meeting in America. Now, in pre-season, he basically said to Valverde, look, I need to go to this meeting, I need to go and actually see these people. It's during the season, it's at the start of the campaign, can I go? Now, in pre-season, Valverde didn't give Piqué an answer. He didn't say yes, he didn't say no, basically didn't say anything about it. He just thought, you know what, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, the first game of the season, the first official game, was the Spanish Super Cup against Sevilla, and Piqué played in that game, and Piqué scored. Barcelona won the Spanish Super Cup, and then, after that game, just before that meeting was due to take place, Piqué went to Valverde again and said, look, I've scored, we've won the game, please now, can you give me permission to go to my meeting? And Valverde basically said, all right, maybe we can do something, where is the meeting? Piqué then said, it's in Orlando. Basically there, he'd have to fly from Spain out to America, and in doing so, he would miss there a training session, a vital training session, before our league game against Alaves there that Piqué would be missing ahead of that game. And basically, Valverde said, no chance. No, you're not going to America, you're not going there to Orlando, it's not a good thing to do, before the league game, you'd miss training sessions, please don't go. Piqué said, no, come on Ernesto. He said, I'll be back in time. I'm only going to miss a training session, I'll be back in time for the game, and I promise you, we will win when I return. And basically, he went. He didn't listen to the reply from Valverde. Piqué simply got on that plane, went to Orlando, went to his meeting, everything did go well, that tournament now is going to go ahead. He came back, and you know what? We won against Alaves. But Piqué was in that team. So the problem that I have here with this particular story is with both parties. Gerard Piqué, if the manager has told him no, if he said there, you can't do something, it shouldn't be done. You should have that respect there for your superior, which is Valverde. You should listen to that and you should say, look, I'm paid here to be a footballer. I need to understand what my duties are. I will stay. He shouldn't have gone. But at the same time, once he does go, once he has there disobeyed Valverde, when he's really walked all over him, Valverde should have said, when he come back, all right, fine, you went against my word, and you know what? You're out of the team. You then have to set a precedent. You can't let the players walk all over you. But no, he played Piqué anyway. So he was basically saying, yep, you went off, you did whatever you wanted, you came back, and you can still play. What message does that send out? And for me, that's the problem. The players are very happy to be under Valverde because he lets them do what they like, and at the same time, Valverde there is happy then, in return, to play them, to do what they want, and that is not a good formula. It's not good foundations to have there at the helm of your club. And that's something there that I am absolutely astounded that Gerard Piqué came out and openly admitted what had happened. Because for me, looking at that, yeah, we might have won. Yeah, Piqué might have scored in the game before that. But still, that's not good. Not on a professional level, not for me. And guys, I really do want to know, what do you think of that? What do you think? Obviously, it's happened last season. Yes, it's water under the bridge. It didn't really have any massive significance on our season. But at the same time, what does that tell you about what's going on there in the dressing room, behind closed doors? What is going on right now with those players under Ernesto Valverde? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. And also there, what you think of all the topics you have discussed in today's video, including Ansu Fati. I will see you soon, of course, with more videos. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça.